I'm Alexander Lees. Today we're here at the British Museum to cover a protest and gathering for the reunification of the Parthenon Marbles. Today is the day that Dr. Nicholas Cullinan OBE is appointed as the new director of the British Museum, and we'll be talking to Greeks and British alike about the chances for repatriation, how a deal could be structured, and what has changed in the last 2 years since we've been here. The debate surrounding the Parthenon Marbles stems back to 1812 when they were taken through Ottoman-occupied Greece at the time by Lord Elgin. They are protected, as is all of the British Museum, by the British Museum Act, which confers upon the British Museum a duty to retain their collection.
It says, can we give you the letter? Can we give you the letter? From this side, guys, very good.
The committee are unfolding a flag of protest currently in the Parthenon Marbles area, in clear sight of all the protests and all the officials who escorted us straight from the forecourt right up to this moment, are currently observing our every move.
I'm chair of the British Committee for the Reunification of the Parthenon Marbles. Basically, an injustice has been perpetrated. That's really what it amounts to. After all, the history dies down a little bit. Now we have confirmation from the Turks that there absolutely is no sign of a firman or a permission. It's very thrilling for us to have confirmed what we always knew, that there was no permission for Elgin to take these masterpieces. I have a feeling that the Labour government is not as stick in the mud or conventional or empire-led as the Conservatives.
Right.
And therefore they're going to think more openly and constructively about an arrangement whereby things that were illegally taken should be magnanimously returned. The British Museum, wonderful as it is not the right place for these. They have been guarded for 200 years and they have done their job. What was their job? It's excited an interest in the ancient world when they arrived 200 years ago, and they've served their purpose. They now need to go home.
What is the case for repatriation in light of this statutory protection they have, and how can we go about dealing with that?
They made one exception for Nazi looted art. There's no reason why they can't make another exception for Greek looted art. They don't belong here. They belong with the culture that created them. Although the distance between ancient Greeks and modern Greeks is as distant as the Druids are from modern Brits, still it belongs to the culture. Somehow it's embedded.
And because it's so embedded, the desire is for it to be permanently repatriated. There are others on both sides of the camp who talk of a loan or a swap or a long-term loan agreement. Is that something that would work?
No, not for the Greeks.
Yeah.
I once had a very important meeting with the then president. He wanted to see me to assure me that the Hellenic Republic only wants the pieces that were taken from the Parthenon itself by Elgin. And he's very proud, and Greece is very proud, that all other great museums have pieces of ancient culture from ancient Athens, like the winged victory of Samothrace in the Louvre. They don't want that back. They don't want anything that was in any other museum except here in these rooms.
What can the average person who is partial to this cause do in Britain to accelerate repatriation of the Parthenon Marbles?
What can they do is make a noise. A quiet noise is only sufficient. We just want a growing number of people to see the justice of their return, which is now at 68%. I don't see any reason why the fair-mindedness of the British won't continue to see that the time has come.
I'm Victoria Hislop, and I'm a member of the British Committee for the Reunification of Parthenon Marbles. Specifically today, we are handing a letter to the incoming director of the museum, Nicholas Cullinan, asking him for a meeting in the near future when he's joined and got his in-tray sorted out to discuss the issue of this reunification. And of course, major thing that's happened in this institution only a year ago was the discovery of a large number of thefts. So I think the reputation of the British Museum is very tarnished by that. So I'm not saying that was a good thing, but it certainly adds fuel to our argument that these beautiful, world-class and unique sculptures should be taken back to Athens and looked after there. And of course we're about to have an election here, and we're all optimistic that a Labour government will have a more enlightened view about not just discussing a loan, which has been happening under a Conservative government, but actually recognising that these should go back and not on the basis of a loan.
And what do you say to those who think this is going to open up the floodgates of all cultural property being returned from the British Museum and other institutions in the UK to their original areas?
The British Museum, even if everything that we're seeing today above ground went back to wherever it was originally from, they've still got 99% of their collection underneath our feet. Secondly, not every country is demanding things. You know, if something came from Egypt and it was legally purchased, the sculptures are part of a bigger work of art. It's like having the Mona Lisa ripped in half and two countries holding on to their half, and it devalues the whole. I would say it would not open the floodgates. Absolutely not.
Okay. Imagine you're talking to the trustees of the museum, those on the other side of the debate. What would you quickly say to change their mind on the topic?
I would say to listen to the people outside this museum, enlightened people who are part of a wave of opinion that if there's a contested work of art that's been taken in the past against the will of that country, during times when perhaps we were less enlightened about such things, that it would give the museum a new image, a new start, and it would certainly help, I think, to clean up the reputation that's been so badly damaged in the last year by the thefts that took place. Thank you.